Don't move. Turn your fantasy football into reality. Here's CJ.
Welcome to the off season. I'm getting a lot of questions these days about what do I do with my roster in the off season? Well, if you're in a dynasty league, you stick around. If you're in a keeper league or a redraft, you go on vacation because there's nothing for you to do until the summer. So if you're in a keeper, redraft, etc., see ya. Oh, I'm just joshing you because I know that you're really a dynasty football fan, right? Dynasty fantasy football is where it's at. Yeah, it's something for everybody. But here, it's the dynasty season. It's over, and now you've got all these bits and pieces that you used during the season to help you win your championship. You went on waivers, you paid too much for this guy, you made a trade for Diggs, didn't help you out, but you still won. All these things you did to make your team viable as a champion, because this year there was a lot of injuries. There was quarterbacks especially. I mean, I won a league with Joe Flacco and Tyrod Taylor at the helm. What year is this? Seriously. I mean, these are the guys, though, that I'm not counting on next year. Tyrod, I'm going to cut. As soon as the league transitions and I'm able to start dropping players, anyone like Robert Woods, Will Fuller, yeah, I know, Will Fuller, these are all gone. So it's time to clean house, get rid of what you don't need. If you've got 4 defenses, Lord knows why you have 4 defenses in the first place, but get rid of at least 3 of them, maybe all of them. If you carry more than one kicker, make a decision and get rid of it. Create bench space because you probably have an IR that's full. And as the offseason goes, that IR, those players are going to get healthy and come off the IR, and you're going to need bench space for your real players. So the guys that you never used, the extra defenses, the extra kickers, the old guys that you used to sort of get you to that title, now it's time to get rid of those. And if you can trade them off to someone for draft picks, now that trading season has begun, more on you. But I'm more of the kind that I would like to keep my first and second round picks, depending on the league. My third, fourth, and fifth, I'd rather use those to trade for guys. We did this on a show before. I'd rather do that to trade for some guys that maybe were the forgotten ones, like the Chase Browns and the Rodriguez and the Michael Wilsons and the Brandon Johnsons and things like that. I think you're wiser to spend your fourth and fifth round picks on guys who have at least set foot in the league than to try and gamble, with the 40th or 50th rookie in your rookie draft who's going to go on your taxi squad and just keep space for a year, and you're going to let go of them next year anyway. So I think the player that where he's going to be and how he's going to be used, but you're looking for a specific player that, is uphill type of thing. So in the off season, there's not a lot to do, but quarterbacks are an issue here. You don't have to carry a bunch of quarterbacks. I'm a believer in having useful quarterbacks. I always like to have 2 starters, and then I have to have a guy on the bench who is reasonable. By reasonable, I mean he's not going to get the same as Josh Allen, but he's going to get maybe half or 20 points, 15 points, just manageable. And I know ahead of time I'm using him, trying to work that week so that I still have a chance to win. But generally speaking, you don't lose by 3 or 4 points. So one player, one position isn't really going to kill you. But the way quarterbacks, this last year, over 60, second year in a row, over 60 different guys started at quarterback for an NFL team. So you have to be prepared. If you have Hurts, you want Mariota. If you have Bryce Young, you want Dalton. You have to have these guys back up. Case Keenum, Flacco, these guys, you have to have those guys. So you don't have to have a bunch of them. But in a single quarterback league, it's a good idea to have 3 quarterbacks these days. At least one of them is a handcuff to the first 2. So you do have bye weeks, so try to alter that a little bit. Superflex leagues. It depends on scoring as to whether you need to load up on quarterbacks or not. You do not have to play a quarterback in that superflex spot. And there are some leagues where quarterbacks only get 4 points for throwing a touchdown. So if that's your league, a good wide receiver like Adams can sometimes get us more points than some of the quarterbacks out there, especially quarterbacks 20 to 30. So the other thing is too, if you're struggling at quarterback and you don't have quarterback depth in a superflex and it's tight end premium, use the tight end in that superflex spot, because a lot of times you'll see guys like Andrews and Ingram and that get more points than your quarterback. So make your roster adjustments, figure out what it is that you actually need to improve your team, and then spend the offseason trying to improve that, get that spot. But what I like to do on every team I have is I like to identify the 5 players I'm never going to use or that I don't want to have on my team. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to try and find one guy that's better than each of those 5 guys. Because I'm a firm believer that if you improve the bottom end of your team, the rest of it will follow, and you'll have a better chance at making the playoffs and winning a championship. Enjoy the rest of the playoffs. See you soon. I'm CJ. This is the Dirty Landry Experience. Please like and subscribe, and there'll be more content coming up shortly. Take care. Thanks again.